Hi, it's Jen with Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the full moon that is taking place in Virgo, 5 degrees Virgo, 23 minutes to be exact. And that is going to be on the 24th of February at 7:30 a.m. here Eastern Standard Time. But before we get into that, we're going to do a little bit of backtracking to this current moon cycle. When it started, we're going to talk about that new moon in Aquarius that happened on February 9th. So there were some things that happened on that day that I thought just pinpointed this new moon to a T, and then what's going to be building up to the full moon. So right before that new moon, we had Mercury moving into Aquarius. It conjuncted Pluto, so this combo of Pluto and Mercury-Pluto conjunction, it shows a probing, looking for answers, messages, reports. What could I be talking about? And then Pluto with Mercury, that Pluto is that exposing, bringing things to light, unmasking things. Pluto is about those in power, so it's kind of bringing something out, maybe showing something from somebody in power. Conjuncting Mercury, so maybe a report that came out on somebody in power. So Pluto in Aquarius as well is kind of a takedown of those in authority or those in power, because it gives the people, it's kind of a rebellion. The people rebel against the people in power. That's very Aquarian. So two things that really stuck out to me that happened on this day was, number one, was the special counsel report that claimed Biden had our current president here in the United States, had a diminished cognitive faculties. It called him an elderly man with a poor memory, saying he didn't remember when he was vice president or the date of his own son's death. So, very interesting. Then the second thing that really stood out on this day that really showed what this new moon was all about, there's a reporter that used to be on Fox News. His name is Tucker Carlson. I guess he had an interview with Putin, which I did watch the interview. It was a rough watch. It was very long and very monotone, so not a lot of shock and awe going on there, but it was a lot of explanations. But I just wanted to watch it because when I noticed that this came out on this day, it was the day before, but really widespread on the 9th when the new moon happened. I just kind of wanted to see what was going on and just get all the information I could. So again, those in power, Putin in this one, and then communication, probing, so asking questions. Putin at one point tells pretty much the entirety of Russian history, going really deep, just that Pluto Mercury just really, in that just the whole interview, Pluto Mercury going deep, telling things, exposing things. He talked about a lot of things that were kind of, I don't know how believable they were. They could be a little bit of that conspiracy theory, but it was a lot of those things coming out into the open, exposing things, just like Pluto, especially with Mercury. So both of these things created really quite a buzz around the world. So we don't want to know that the American president, the most powerful country in the United States, has diminished, cognitive faculties, like that he's got this poor memory and doesn't know what he's doing. So first we're going to talk about that special counsel report. So remember now, the new moon was in a square. This is the current with the full moon, but then the new moon was in a square with Uranus. So this new report sends shockwaves. Uranus, it mixes things up. It just throws a wrench into stuff. You think you're going along good, and then all of a sudden, whoop, what happened? Exposing those in power. There's that Pluto, who's in power. Biden, the person that put it out. like exposing maybe his weaknesses. And okay, so it really kind of further uncovered what we all are kind of thinking deep inside. I mean, you can't watch him without kind of thinking that he's a little bit, I mean, he's 81, and there have been so many gaffes, like you can try and see around it, but the guy is 81 years old. My mom is 80. She's a year younger than him, and there's no way she would be president. Not that she's like super smart and super with it, very with it actually. Hi Mom. So anyway, I guess they decided though, they being his, I guess, handlers, I don't know what you call them, it was a great time for him to do a press conference to kind of fix his image and prove that he is not in cognitive decline and that his memory is sharp. So the new moon, when I pulled up his chart, the new moon was in conjunct or in a quincunx with Biden's MC. So there's that strong drive to assert yourself, to prove yourself, to, get out there in front of people. MC, that's your reputation. But it's hard to get the point across because in the quincunx, they're not seeing each other. So it's kind of like you're having to look around the corner, not really like getting the full picture. That's that inconjunct. So it's hard to see. So the new moon also squared his Mercury. So we see that both these aspects, he wants to take advantage of this opportunity, but that square with Mercury, things don't quite come out. It's a square, there's difficulty there, and things aren't coming out as smoothly. Things, maybe the thought isn't going as smoothly as he wanted it to. So really not a good time to have this press conference. So the square with Mercury, the inconjunct the MC, it just went horribly wrong. The Mars transit opposing his Jupiter was kind of, shows that he decided to go back, and then everything just blew up. He took that initiative, that Mars goes back, the opposition, doesn't always jive very well, and it kind of all blew up. Jupiter blowing things up. So instead of helping, he almost exacerbated things, Jupiter making things worse, by mixing up Mexico and Egypt. He showed confusion, he showed frustration, anger, a lot of those traits that you see if you've had grandparents or elderly family members that have had that kind of cognitive decline. I know my grandmother went through those same stages and was very defensive, and sweetest person in the world, but she got very defensive, very angry, easily set off. So that, and the mistaken, making the mistakes, his mind not quite, forming things right, unable to connect, his honor, the MC, and thus upheaved, and it just was a disaster, and that's the Uranus in there. So Pluto is now square to his moon, so that's bringing up those deep-rooted issues, so bringing those to the surface. So what are those deep-rooted issues? Are they that he is having these problems, or did he pick really unfortunate time astrologically to have this? So things just really were spelled out exactly. You can see the astrology at work here. Just, you saw the confusion, you saw the way he couldn't really express things correctly. He did make a joke at one point. I don't think it really went over well. I thought it was kind of funny, but it just looked very disturbing, and it really didn't help him out any. The astrology really just pointed all to that something was going to happen, and then what? So then secondly, we're going to talk a little bit about this Tucker Carlson, Vladimir Putin interview. So he had Tucker Carlson pulling up his chart, and I don't have all the charts here. These are easy charts to get. You can easily get Putin's. It's double A, and or not Putin's, yeah, you can get Putin's too, I'm pretty sure, but Biden's, and you can get Tucker Carlson's, all on astrodatabank.com, which is a part of astro.com. You can pull them up and you can see all this for yourself. So Tucker Carlson had the new moon in his 8th house. Taboos, that's more of that probing, that's more of that investigative, getting down to the nitty gritty. The 8th house is kind of that Pluto ruled house. So Mercury then in his chart was sextile to his MC. So having those powerful contacts, having, powerful conversations, and, so it, with his MC, it worked out a lot better because, it helped. Of course, it's going to help in his career. I think his career is going quite well, but and the communication, more favorably communicating with a ruler, with a president. Tucker was born on a new moon in Taurus, so to have this come out on a new moon, kind of like that full circle type thing. And this was also trined by transiting Mars, so that is really going after your goals, like going for that brass ring, like, I'm gonna win the Pulitzer for this one, or, whatever they win, or Nobel Prize, I'm not sure which one, I'm sorry. So going after goals. His sun, moon in the 11th house of professional associations, networking, technology. So he did this on his own network, his, professional associations. He's on TV. He's networking to the world that way. So again, it just is spelled out. It just shows exactly how the astrology just shows what's going to happen. I mean, everything's free will, but if Biden maybe picked a different time, maybe the press conference would have came out a little bit better. If Tucker picked a different time, maybe that would have went horribly wrong. But anyway, you're still getting double sides from both anyway. So now let's talk about this upcoming full moon in Virgo. So this is the full snow moon, and heck yeah, in New England here we have a lot of snow. We just got about 8 inches dumped on us on Tuesday, so not fun, but it is, on the bright side, the last full moon of winter. So the energy of Aquarius that was so intense is now going to be kind of breaking up a little bit. Of course, Pluto's still in there. Pluto's intense, but it's going to be in there for 20 years. I don't expect it to be crazy for 20 years. It's going to, slowly provide these changes. But the energy, the Aquarian energy, that rebellion, that, pushing boundaries, that is all kind of going to be easing up a little bit. So first we have Mercury, and then the sun now in Pisces. There's that mutable quality added in there. That's there. That more compassionate, that more kind of, okay, how we're going to work with this, kind of pick up the pieces and move forward. So with these two things going on, what's going to happen? So the full moon chart is a bucket shape. So if you look here, a bucket shape is everything in one area of the chart except for one planet, which is then the focal point. So you see, this is a bucket shape. I mean, if it was tipped up, you'd be able to see it a lot better, but this bucket's on its side, and the handle's up here, and the handle here is the moon. So that is your focal point. That is the goal. So the goal is that moon in Virgo, that full moon in Virgo. So it's you're fixated on that goal. The opposite planet's the goal. It's that the moon in Virgo on the Pisces axis is that balancing of practical and abstract. So kind of like, okay, so we need to figure things out, but our boundaries are a little bit skewed a little bit. Things are a little fuzzy because we got that Pisces in there, which fuzzes things up a little bit, and it just kind of makes it a little bit not quite so sharp, I guess you could say. So it's also about health. So Virgo is about health and the way we deal with our everyday routines. So Virgo, it gets down to business. It is that grounding, earthy, that is, going to take the information, it's going to put it into practical use. It's going to only use the information that it needs. It's going to cut out the fat. Virgo is very precise, notes, and, here we go. We're going to forget all this other stuff. So, how is the country going to use this? We have that full moon, and I'm pretty much just talking kind of mundane right now. So not really in a personal level. Personal, maybe we'll get to a little bit at the end if we have time. But so we have this moon in this sign of health, this sign of Mercury, which is that, again, your thoughts, your communication, the way you process. So how are they looking and aiming to fix the health of, say, Biden? So to make him appear, okay, that he's not this feeble old man, that he is healthy and that he is with it, that he does have the cognitive resources. That word, saying it way too much. I'm getting tongue-tied. So anyway, so yeah, the focus is how do we, the goals we want, things we want, this is the moon, we want to prove that he's healthy, that he's with it mentally, he's mentally sharp. So this is the waxing moon period that we're in right now, because today, of course, is about a week prior to the new moon. That is happening, I think on Thursday, so I think we're exactly a week away. So we're about halfway through, so we're building. So how is dealing with this and the contents of the report, how are they going to kind of, well, today, actually yesterday, Wednesday, sorry, my cat's trying to climb up my own lap. The news came out about some kind of Russian space nuke. Okay, so here we go. So this is how, during this waxing moon phase, or this could be one of the ways, anyway, I just found it so funny, and just so, I guess you could say coincidental that it came out. So how are they dealing with it? Finding a reason, diverting maybe. As far as the Biden report, it can be kind of like a overblown, look over there kind of tactic. Oh, look, well, yeah, there's Russian space nukes. And as far as the Putin interview, which tried to make Putin look, calling out things about things that he blamed on the United States and on NATO and, other countries, of course, Ukraine. And it proves that he still is a threat. So it kind of, almost, with this report coming out about this, huge Russian space nukes, that it proves that he's still a threat. So it kind of gives that diversion that, okay, so we kind of forget a little bit maybe about the Biden thing because, oh my God, nuclear war is going to happen, World War III, and then, okay, yeah, now Putin is not this super nice guy. So it's rationalize it to get to that goal. The Pisces haze, kind of that pulling the wool over your eyes, that persuading, that convincing, kind of like the killing two birds with one Russian space nuke. So in this building waxing phase, as the moon is growing, there is organizing, Virgo, planning, how to deal with, we get some facts, positive facts, and know what we want out there, cutting out anything else that could provide further damage. So I would expect coming out of the White House and out of the government, we're going to see a lot of positive, focused things, and really cutting out any of the negatives. So, Virgo, negative that can damage. So Virgo is about health. In Biden's chart, it's in the 10th, 4th house axis. So work and home, with work, 10th house, and your career and your reputation being in his 10th house. So that's where Virgo is, so that's where the moon is. So, kind of maybe, working with home, with work being in Virgo, he's probably going to go and be dormant for a while. Virgo is kind of that withdrawn kind of a sign where, you know, he might withdraw back, so you probably won't see him out very much. You probably won't see him doing any more press conference, any more questions answered. If he does, he'll probably just do like a quick walk by, and not really have a lot of, you know, conversations or things off the cuff, just to kind of curb any of that talk, so things kind of get forgotten in this Pisces haze that kind of goes on. So, you know, kind of that watery, smoky Pisces, gonna wash it all away, so you'll hear what wants to get put out. You know, I'm really on no side in this, just honestly, just because I think they're both too old, and there was other ones that I found more interesting, and I think that Biden and, you know, 80-year-old men shouldn't be president. If you can retire at 65 and I think you get your driver's license checked at like 70, then you shouldn't be president. If you have to, you know, you can't even drive a car without getting that by your doctor. So anyway, it's just a lot. It's just very strange. Anyway, we want the country to grow, and we're still sticking with the same type of people that we always do, and not really making much change. The full moon is triggering Biden's Uranus that is in a square with Jupiter. So more big questions. People are going to be throwing questions there. Okay, why isn't he taking this cognitive test? Why isn't, you know, because they said they weren't going to do that. So now not giving in is the lack of answers, or that fuzzy, unbelievable answers, you know, and that distraction defense is really a big one. We're moving into Pisces, so that's we're going to be bulking up on that stellium that's in Pisces, things just becoming unclear, you know, that freedom, liberating attitude, that wanting freedom, gaining info is kind of calming. The stress of life in Pisces shows, you know, Pisces, we want our minds to rest. We're tired. We're tired of hearing about all this. It's just this side saying one thing, this side saying one thing. It becomes exhausting. You don't know what to believe, and you just want to go run and hide. And, you know, in the middle of winter, Pisces, that's sometimes a nice thing to do. You know, we get that, you know, instead of that intense scrutiny, that you know, deep digging that we had when everything was in with Pluto in Aquarius, we are kind of seeing things maybe a little bit dreamier, you know, seeing things really with through rose-colored glasses, seeing the bright side of things through rose-colored glasses. The Sun and Mercury join, and, you know, so this is like, I'm sorry, I gotta put my cat down. So, you know, don't let yourself be brainwashed. Don't run out and join a cult because you can't take it anymore and you need to just get away. But you might feel like you just want to because you just are so sick of everything that's going on. So the Sun and Mercury in Pisces, with Mercury combust, will not help matters at all, because Mercury is under the beams of the Sun, so your mind still, especially being in Pisces, are still not going to be super clear. So don't let the bull get pulled over your eyes. Keep focused. Try and keep focused. Try and listen to the facts, what seems like logical facts, and not just what seems like they're blowing smoke up our skirts. So this is especially important on a personal level with those in Pisces, for those Pisces or Virgos or any mutable sign for that matter, on a collective level or on a personal level, any of the mutable signs. So you might be susceptible to getting the wool pulled out of your eyes. Sorry, was that scary? I knew that he'd be difficult today. So you don't want that. You want to just keep keen, keep sharp, never stop asking questions, and just keep going the way you're going. And if you feel that you're getting, like, just something doesn't seem right, use that Pisces, use that gut, go with your gut. Use that Virgo, go with what's logical. Keep an eye on your health also, to all y'all out there, because this season. It's a time that we can, kind of get lazy, not move around a lot. So remember all those goals you made at the new year with the New Year's resolutions, things you may have promised to quit or work on during Lent, what you're working to improve. Venus square Jupiter, work hard at being friendly. So we also have that going on. So personally, Venus in a square with Jupiter, we want to spread the love. We want to get it out there. Maybe it might be hard for you to do that. Maybe it's not in your nature with that square, but you want to try and really put that out there. Mars also square Jupiter. Take on new things to keep your mind busy and focused. So the less you do, the less that you're focused. I know at work, when it's not very busy, people make way more mistakes than when it is busy and you have to be on point, which I find just very funny, because you just get like, you don't care as much almost. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but you lose focus in general and your mind isn't keen. You want to work on that. Full moon trine Jupiter. Be optimistic. Be that shoulder for those who are struggling. Be there for people, especially people with that Pisces that might be suffering from some kind of addiction or something that is keeping hold on them. Get yourself ready for spring, because again, this is the last full moon until spring comes. So it's coming, people. Get excited. So hope you guys tell a friend about the channel, and y'all subscribe and get notified. Leave comments, visit or email for a chart of your own to see how a little quickie video from me to see how this full moon might work out for you. So I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, baby. Bye.